that all of that stuff they learned about running that automobile shop and running those real estate pieces to put into me.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other piece is those either you don't have or if you do have, you don't know where to sow.
Right.
So.
And that's definitely going to always be very important is that the gifts or the talents that you do have is that you instill it in someone else.
Yes.
And that you're
seed.
sharing it. And
That's
that
the
you're
legacy.
putting that seed and you have to do it with your children.
Yeah.
Because again, you want to continue to have that legacy go on.
Mm-hmm.
So do you stop it with yourself? Because now you've learned something new and you can take this and you can share this with people and you're pouring all of this knowledge that you know about building businesses and starting businesses, but you can't let it stop there. You then want to sow it into your children.
Yes, yes.
And you want your children to see, well, this is how you do, and this is now what you do. This is now we're going to help you find your purpose.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And once you find your purpose, then you're then going to find your niche, and you'll sow it into somebody else. But when you have your children, they'll know to do the same thing.
They'll know to do the same
but
thing.
Then that's
right?
how we start changing our legacy.
Yes.
That's exactly how.
And
yes.
we'll all take something different, and we'll start leaving something different.
Right.
We'll
We'll leave something and we'll carry something forward. Right.
We'll
and it's like
and we're carrying.
And it's like that package, right? It's like you continue to just take this gift and you deliver it. And it's like the conference that we did the other week with the Further Her. It was all about how there were women of generations who came before us taking the time to sow back into us. They were taking the time to make sure that we knew what life is. They knew it was like and the lessons that they learned, right? Because it's a wise man who learns from the experiences, I'll say, of others.
And that's what we're missing. That's what our generations are missing. That's what our youth is missing. They missing that history.
That's what the part that they're missing.
And people
that's the privilege.
That's
the privilege.
Because they are now at like the promised land. And even if you look at the story of the Israelites, once they got there, you know, a lot happened because that generation was so far removed from Egypt.
They were so far removed from the wilderness.
They were so far removed from it that it was like they started to worship idols and they got further away from God the further down the generations.
Yes.
You know?
That's what it is.
That's exactly what happens. And even for me as an adult woman, it was good to focus our topic this week on the African American women in the United States, because it's just that reminder, it's just that refresher, you know, of the resilience that our women had, the things that they had to go through. And again, not that far removed, we can go back and talk to our grandparents and they'll have a story about the times in Jim Crow, about the times where they couldn't, you know, go to certain places, going to the movie theater. I mean, now I never had to decide in the movie theater where I wanted to sit because of my color. I was just doing it because where I could see best.
Exactly.
Because you got to, that got to be your decision.
I'm on the bus.
You want to go in the back now because it's the best spot.
It's
you
the
get
best.
the most bumps.
Right, but here it is. Rosa Parks, you know, started a whole boycott of the bus because she was told she had to go to the back and couldn't sit in the front. But it's that black privilege that I think sometimes we don't really talk about. And to me, it is a privilege, and it is that we have access to more than we ever did. So I appreciate you ladies just kind of helping me out with that and feeling the way that I feel, which is good. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy.
No,
but do you guys have any women that you would honor or that you connect with this month or even months before that you just like really take to, who has influenced you or impacted you as a woman?
If I would have to choose someone, I guess I would honestly say it was my mother. And the reason why I say that is, you know, I did lose my mom when I was 13, but I watched my mom do a lot. I watched my mother take care of not only her own household, but take care of our neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, sick and all. My mom was on dialysis and had kidney disease. And I watched my mom be sick, but I watched my mother take in my sister's friends, their kids. I watched my mother feed them. My mother still worked, sick and all, and she still made time to be there when I had a dance recital. She was there sick and all. I would watch her do that, and I would be so amazed that all I wanted to do when I got older was give her a kidney.
Right. Right.
Because I wanted her to be able to be here longer and just continue to do her thing.
To do her thing.
So I would definitely have to
those
say
around her.
that she definitely has the most impact on me, even to this day. my son will be like, well, Mom, you're sick. And I'll be like, there's no way I can't keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched my mom do it. There's no way
Right.
I can't do
Right,
it. I'm
right,
built
right.
like she is.
Right, you
It's
built
not
like
she
she
telling
is.
me
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, and
So-
that's one thing. Even too in the Black community, seemed like there was kind of like that togetherness where
Yep.
where we took care of each
We
other.
took care of each other.
Not just our house, but we
We
took care of
the
the
community.
You know?
It takes a village.
It
It's
takes
the
a village.
African proverb,
Yeah.
but it is truth, and I say it all the time.
Yeah.
If somebody asks me, "Where's
Yes,
Camille?"
she
With
do.
the village,
With the village.
literally with the village. Because I think the reality is that I'm not going to put myself in a position to think that I'm an island.
Right.
I didn't get here
Correct.
by myself, and there's no way you'll be able to. Even this network of sisterhood that we've created,
Yes.
it's become more. And I know for me, I would echo Jasmine's sentiment. My mom has been very instrumental in the woman that I have become thus far,
Okay.
and that I know that I will be, because I watched her raising us in an environment where it was definitely kind of challenged. So Aliquippa's small,
Okay.
but sometimes when it's small and you have all those same challenges like y'all experienced with the drugs and the crime, it makes it worse.
It makes it worse.
It makes it worse because you really, there's no other neighborhoods anywhere that were better that we could escape to, because the surrounding ones were like, oh no, hold up, go back to
Right.
Aliquippa. So for me, she was she played a big part in what I'm doing.
Okay.
And she even told me how much that I inspire her even today.
Right.
And so I think that
Right.
that kind of says a lot. But yeah, she was someone that I thought about currently that's reachable. And then the other person that I just kind of became more familiar with, because as I was looking for like different quotes and things of inspiration, even for our social media pages, there's this woman, Ursula Burns, chairman and CEO of Xerox. One of the quotes, and I'm just going to quote part of it because I love this part. It says, "The reason they knew who I was is because I told them." So it wasn't that I waited for someone else to kind of do for me, I told them who I was.
Yeah.
And that's how they know who I am. And I think that's kind of what we all kind of look to do as we're engaging in this world, in this environment, is they're going to know who we are because we're going to tell them who we are.
Tell them who we are. Yeah. I would say probably closest to me. I actually have two, and one of mine is newfound. I would say my grandmother is the woman that I would honor for African American women in history. And one of the reasons I was talking to her the other day, she had stuff happen to her that she blocked for me, right? And I think as a parent, we are blocking experiences and we're implementing experiences, which both are really good depending on what it is that you're blocking.
Yep.
And there was a lot of trials that those women encountered, whether it was through raising their children, through keeping the community together, through dealing with men and getting married young, and just a lot of things that occurred. And her and my mother were very intentional with saying it stops here.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got to. The generational.
Got to.
It stops
stop.
here. And it was like I had that realization, and she didn't just do that for me as a woman, she also blocked things for the young men,
Yep.
the
See?
grandchildren.
Yes.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
It was no more. It was
It
a
stops.
cease, and it was a cease and desist order
Yep.
that was placed. And I was like, that is so powerful. You know? And
Yeah.
we got to be intentional with some things. And as a mother,
Yep.
I try to say, it won't be for her. If I was a teen mom, that's something that I'm trying to avoid my daughter having to experience.
Yeah.
It's the curse stops with me.
Yep.
If you dropped out of school, you didn't finish, there got to be a cease and desist order. It got to stop with you. We got to be intentional about trying to push those generations going forward. And
I agree.
The other lady that I mentioned tonight was Ida B. Wells. And I think for me, Ida B. Wells, because she was coming fresh out of slavery. Like she had been born, and the Emancipation Proclamation had just been signed. And that was like such a period of time where, they were trying to reconstruct and they were trying to build, and they still had all these challenges and all these difficulties. And I just like how she used her instrument You know, so it really rung to me, what is my instrument for this era? What is my instrument for this season of life? And how can I use my gifts and my talents to lend to other women, whether it be women who are older or women who are behind me? So she's just brought that intention to my mind on how to use my instrument and really find out what that is. So that's,
I love it.
I love it.
I've heard her, and she's awesome. You know, there's several women.
Yeah.
I think, but she's awesome.
I mean, we have poets, we have actresses, we have astronauts, we have mathematicians, we have
race car drivers,
women, right? It's not just who we say. It's not just Rosa Parks. Not to discredit. It's not just Oprah. It's not Michelle Obama.
It's
like they are.
You know,
they are, they are borrowing someone else's history. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so many powerful women before them that we got to go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
and you got to go deep.
You do.
You got to go back. You got to go deep, and it's how you learn about who you are. And I think that resonates even for our own families.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
like you got to know who you. We talk a lot about medical history, right? You fill out those questionnaires. What's your medical history? And your mom's side, your dad's history.
Right.
But what's your history?
Like, no, I literally text my grandma and was like, "Well, where was great grandma from?" And trying to figure out, because I'm like, how far removed am I really from 1864? Like, how far removed? I mean, how many grandmothers back, and what does that period from now to what does it look like?
And for me, it's closer than probably most. Like, my dad was a first generation sharecropper. That was
your dad was.
My dad was. So sharecroppers, of course, were the first. That was slavery ended. Sharecropping. So they worked for food and things like that. But it was because my dad was from the South, and he was so much older than my mom. He was like almost 20 years older than my mom. He was born in 1935.
Oh wow!
But he was born in 1930 in the South.
Okay.
So it just builds relativity, because my grandmother was born in 1931 in D.C. 4 years later, my dad was born 1935 in Georgia, but they lived two different lives.
They did.
Because it was still
versus the North and the South.
It was
totally
still hard
different.
down there.
Yeah.
So it's not you have to know your past.
Yeah. Well, I am not going to hold you, ladies. I encourage you to celebrate yourselves.
Yes,
absolutely. We have to celebrate ourselves, the flavor that we bring to life. And I think even in discussing this, it just makes me celebrate, my Milani, my blackness, and just my heritage.
Yep.
And pull that resilience and that strength and that beauty and that courage, and bring that forth to myself, and also infuse that into my daughter and into my son, the history and the currency of what's happening right now. So do you ladies have anything else that you want to add, that you want to say? I mean, it is African American women topic.
No, I think that I would just, I would encourage every woman that's listening to us now to celebrate each other, not just this month. Let this month be kind of the catalyst for what should be an ongoing thing. I think too many times we see ourselves represented in ways that aren't authentic and aren't true, and it doesn't represent our progress, but we are making so much of it. And so I encourage everyone, again, to celebrate each other, uplift your sister, ask your sister how she's doing, and mean it, and wait for the response.
So true.
And let's just use this time to continue to sow positively into these women, because out of them is going to birth something great. We are the creators of life. God has given us that ability for a reason. So we should make sure that we're creating life in other women.
Amen.
I definitely agree. You don't always got to get along, but you should definitely have a sisterhood where you support each other and build each other up. You ain't got to be friends, but you definitely don't have to tear each other down.
Right. Yep. All right. And on that note, I'm going to leave you ladies with this. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are and what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. And that is from Maya Angelou.
Yes.
Aunt Maya.
Woo-hoo-hoo. So thanks again for tuning in to another episode of The Legacy. Ladies, we appreciate you. We love you. And we hope you will continue on this journey with us. And to do that, please follow